Today, we're about to see the greatest wide receiver prospect take over the NFL. Standing at 6'9", 270 pounds, Darius Holloway is the greatest wide receiver prospect the league has ever seen. And in the NFL draft, he's going to be going to the Tennessee Titans to be paired up with Cam Ward to give him a new franchise wide receiver. And Holloway's goals are simple: become the greatest wide receiver of all time and maybe win a few Super Bowls in the process, but anything short of that will be very disappointing. And in Darius Holloway's rookie year, he's having 1,000 yards and 11 touchdowns, which isn't necessarily going to be the greatest stats to start off your career, but for a rookie season, it's definitely good and shows that even though he's the best prospect, it doesn't mean he's going to come into the league dominating right away. But the Titans would be still missing out on postseason play, with Cam Ward and Holloway not quite clicking right away, so now we're jumping into year 2, and Holloway's looking to have a very increased amount of production. And he would be doing just that, going for 1,200 yards and 14 touchdowns on the season, having a good sophomore year jump for himself. And his production would echo across the whole entire team, with Cam Ward having his career best year and would also be sending the Titans into the postseason for the first time with Ward and Holloway on the team. And their first playoff game would be against the Bengals, who have Jamar Chase and T. Higgins obviously, but in the offseason they added Tyreek Hill, so now they have an insane three-headed dragon at wide receiver that looks like it's going to be unstoppable. But with the Titans also having the best wide receiver prospect on their team, they should be evenly matched up with this Bengals team, even though they might be outplayed in the receiver room. But clearly that wouldn't matter for the Bengals, as they would still be falling short to the Titans 33-21. Darius Holloway and Cam Ward are looking to use that first playoff win momentum into the divisional round, where they're going to be facing off against Fernando Mendoza and the Raiders, who are also looking to make their first deep playoff run. And so with both these teams being younger and not having that much playoff experience, this is probably going to be the most even matchup the Titans are going to have in the playoffs this year. But it's clear that the dominance of Darius Holloway is echoing around the whole entire league and would help them take down the Raiders in the divisional round 34-21 to go all the way into the AFC Championship game to play for a chance at a Super Bowl in just his second year. And somehow they're running into the Jets in the AFC Championship, who are 8-9 on the season and should not even be here for whatever reason. Darius Holloway would absolutely dominate this Jets team and would be sending the Titans to the Super Bowl for the first time in his career. And meeting them in the Super Bowl would be the Falcons, led by Drake London and Bijan Robinson, who are clearly tearing it up on this Falcons offense. So it's a very big game for the two franchises here, as the Falcons are trying to recover from the disaster that happened almost 10 years ago now, and the Titans are trying to win their first Super Bowl with Darius Holloway and Cam Ward. And so with both of these teams having a lot at stake, this game would mean a lot to both sides here, as they would be keeping it close the whole entire time. But as we got later into the fourth quarter, the Falcons would start pushing away with the lead for themselves to look like they might be winning the Super Bowl. But the Titans would slowly try to complete a comeback to push their way back into this game, and the offense would be really doing their thing to make that work out. But it's going to come down to the Titans defense trying to get a stop on this loaded Falcons offense, which they're going to try to do in the red zone. Here we go, 2nd and 4 with 2 minutes remaining in the Super Bowl. The Falcons could get a touchdown here and potentially end the Titans season maybe. Bijan gets stuffed right away, creating 3rd and 3. Potentially one more stop from the Titans here. Can they potentially do it? 3rd and 3. Letting the clock run out. Michael Penix on the play action. The Titans will not stop them, and they do score there. Touchdown Falcons. And now potentially this game could be over. And that would be a dagger on the Titans season, as their defense is going to be falling short in the red zone against the Falcons. And while Holloway did play a very good game here, it's clear that the defense is definitely going to be the main circle point of them losing this game. And Holloway's going to have to overcome these types of challenges, with him not being able to control everything that happens on the football field throughout the whole game. So only time will tell how he overcomes those challenges in his career, but now going into year 3 for himself, he's going to be having the big jump in production that everyone has been expecting. He's going off for 1,800 yards and 16 touchdowns, setting a franchise record for most yards in a single season by Titans history, which is a very good start already in year 3 for himself. And with production like that, he's helping the Titans get back into the playoffs, where they're going to be meeting up against the Patriots in the divisional round, who are also led by Drake May and Mike Vrabel or Mike Rossini, whichever one we're going with right now. And with both these teams making the Super Bowl at some point in the last few years, they have a very good chance to make it back this year now. And both these teams would be showing that they're going to be good enough to make it to the Super Bowl, as they would be keeping this game close the whole entire time, and all the way into the fourth quarter, the Patriots would start gaining a 7-point lead on the Titans with little time to go. And with less than a minute to go in the fourth quarter, one of these teams will be putting the icing on the cake in this game. Ward now, 55 seconds to go. is going to throw an interception. He's going to throw an interception. The Patriots are going to house this one. That is going to do it here in Tennessee. Actually, New England, I mean. So a very bad mistake by Cam Ward is going to be ending the Titans season here and now. This is going to be one of the many problems Darius Holloway is going to have to face on the offensive side. And while QB play is very important when it comes to a wide receiver's career somewhat, with a guy like Darius Holloway, that cannot be the whole excuse he's going to use throughout his whole career. Now heading into year 4 for Darius Holloway, it's important to note before we get into this that he's heading into the end of his rookie deal, and it could mean that he could be leaving the Titans with how things have gone the last few years. And he'd be making sure that teams around the league would be keeping an eye on him with 1,600 yards on the year and 13 touchdowns, showing that he's still the best receiver in the NFL. And yet again, his contributions would help the Titans get back into the postseason once again, where they're going to be running into the AFC Championship, where they're going to be playing against the Miami Dolphins, who have happened to complete their rebuild with Lenore Sellers at quarterback. And while it is shocking to see the Dolphins here with Lenore Sellers, the inexperience of this Dolphins team in the playoffs is going to be getting the better of them, as Cam Ward and Darius Holloway would be dominating them 41-24 to advance to the Super Bowl. And in the Super Bowl, it's going to be the powerhouse out in Detroit being the Lions, with Jahmyr Gibbs and Amon-Ra St. Brown at wide receiver, who have been dominating the league still to this day. And this is one of the many teams that can match up with the Titans. They've had very good deep playoff runs, but haven't quite made it to the Super Bowl until now. But Darius Holloway, having the experience in the Super Bowl already, might give him an extra hand in this game. And with both these teams being an offensive powerhouse, they would be keeping this game close the whole entire time through all 4 quarters, as both offenses would be showing that they're going to be able to put up points against each team's defenses very easily. But at the end of the day, when your team has Darius Holloway, the greatest wide receiver in the NFL, and Cam Ward playing way better in the playoffs, this Titans offense would just be way too much for this Lions defense, and they would never have an answer for them at all. And the Lions would be falling short to the Titans, giving Darius Holloway and Cam Ward their first Super Bowl wins. This win here for sure puts Holloway up into a different conversation for one of the all-time great wide receivers, but with it still being early in his career, it's not going to be the craziest progress quite yet. It's also going to be a very big turning point for Holloway's career. As we mentioned earlier, he's entering the very end of his rookie deal, and after this game, he would be signing a 7-year deal with the Titans to be sticking around for a longer time. And with him signing that extension, there's lots of hope that him and Cam Ward could easily be winning more than just one Super Bowl after this season. And he's going to be doing exactly that. He's making it back to the Super Bowl, looking to win his second ring. And their opponent in the Super Bowl would be the Seattle Seahawks, who are led by the Emerald City Route Artist, or as most people know him as Jackson Smith-Njigba. And so this is going to be a very big game for Darius Holloway to prove that he is the better receiver than JSN, and prove that he is the best receiver in the NFL as we all know it. And so with both these receivers looking to prove that they have the best offenses in the whole entire league, they would be putting up points against each other the whole entire time. And as we got into the fourth quarter, this game would be tied up. But late in the fourth quarter, the Seahawks would go up 28-21 with a touchdown of their own, now giving Darius Holloway one more shot to potentially win this game on offense. But now we get to see the real star shine right here. Darius Holloway and Cam Ward, can they put together a drive to potentially tie this game up and send it into overtime? Ward is gonna scramble. He's gonna fumble the ball. What is he doing? Oh my God. They just lost the Super Bowl off that. This team's so... I don't understand, man. Well, I don't even know what he was doing. Stepping up and just like completely disregarding everybody behind him. Yeah, he's got it. He's got it. So the lights were clearly too bright for Cam Ward in this one, and he literally ends up fumbling the game away for the team. Holloway's been playing great in the playoffs, so for his quarterback to be playing like this in the Super Bowl in the clutch time especially cannot be happening. This could easily turn into a what if for Holloway's career if everything doesn't go out as planned for the rest of his time, but luckily for him, next year things could definitely take a quick turn on his career. Because in year 6, Darius Holloway's going to be having his best season yet, going for 1,963 yards, which is going to be 1 yard shy of Calvin Johnson's single season record, which is going to be very heartbreaking this year. And maybe that comes back to bite him later on, but hopefully he can try to top that. But also having 19 touchdowns this season as well is going to make it for one of the best receiver seasons we've ever seen. And so with him having his best season yet, he's going to be leading the Titans all the way back to the Super Bowl, this time to face off against the 49ers as they look to take them down and win their Super Bowl to make up from last season. And there would be no better way than to top this season with the Super Bowl win, as this very easily could be Darius Holloway's best season of his career that we will ever see, but hopefully that isn't the case. And with Holloway playing at the level that he is at right now, no team should be able to stop this Titans offense at the very moment. And while all the eyes might be on Cam Ward in this game, there would be no funny business going on in this game, and the Titans would be easily taking care of the 49ers and winning their second Super Bowl with the Darius Holloway Cam Ward duo at hand. If Holloway already wasn't a franchise cornerstone for the team, he might as well just be now after winning his second Super Bowl of his career here and also putting up the stats that he's been putting up. He's also adding an Offensive Player of the Year award to his trophy room, so along with the Super Bowl ring, he's also going to be adding that as well. So now we're heading into year 7 for Darius Holloway's career, and he's looking to win back-to-back Super Bowls this season and still continue his journey to become the greatest wide receiver of all time. And yet again, he's going to be winning Offensive Player of the Year, going for 1,800 yards and 14 TDs on the seasons, and would be getting the Titans back into the postseason once again. And over the last few seasons, Darius Holloway and the Titans have been making some pretty big noise in the playoffs, but this year would be a very quick 180 on the season. Darius Holloway would only be having 52 yards in the divisional round, where they're going to be losing to Fernando Mendoza and the Raiders, who are going to be taking down the Super Bowl champion Titans. This is probably one of the worst games Holloway has had in his whole entire playoff career, and it's going to be one of the first playoff losses that's really going to be blamed mostly on him. And while this may be the first time Darius Holloway hasn't played great in the playoffs, Cam Ward could easily be seeing that as a big major issue, even though he's also had his fair share of bad playoff performances as well. But it is just one game, so they shouldn't be growing apart just quite yet, and as we go into season 8 for Darius Holloway's career, they're going to be looking to bounce back in a major way. But before we see how that goes, we should really take a bigger look at Darius Holloway's career and see where he places right now on being the greatest wide receiver of all time. He's officially over 11,000 yards and 97 touchdowns on his whole career with 757 catches, making him officially probably the greatest Titans wide receiver of all time. But when it comes to the greatest wide receiver of all time, he is still a long ways away. So 7 years in, it already looks like Darius Holloway's having a great career for himself, but if this team doesn't find a way to bounce back after last year's loss, things could go downhill very quickly. And they would do more than just bouncing back this season, as they would get the 1 seed in the AFC, looking like the clear favorites to go back to the Super Bowl, and Darius Holloway would also be playing at an elite level still as well. And so their playoff push this year starts in the divisional round, where they're going to be facing off against the Steelers, who now have Joe Burrow at quarterback, as his time in Cincinnati has come to an end. And there's clearly a lot at stake here for Darius Holloway and Cam Ward specifically. Back-to-back divisional losses could be raising major question marks of the future of this team, but a win here could easily set everything up perfectly for them this season. And so with there being a lot at stake this game, they would be putting their best foot forward in this game and making sure that this team is staying in the game the whole entire time. But clearly Burrow would be putting a little more effort into this game than the Titans, as he would be leading his team up 31-24 late in the fourth quarter. So Darius Holloway and Cam Ward are getting one more shot as a duo to tie this game up and send it into overtime against the Steelers. They hurry back up to the line once again. It's going to be third and very long here to go. He's going to take a shot out to Holloway in the end zone, and he catches it. Oh my God. What a shot down to Holloway, as we were just talking about he's not getting much done. And he absolutely mosses his DB in the end zone. There is still some time for Joe Burrow here. He does have the 3 timeouts for his team and can get his team into field goal range and potentially win this game, but the Titans defense needs to stop them. Joe Burrow stepping back, is going to throw it to Caleb Johnson right away, and he's going to get tackled inbounds, and we'll have to keep running the clock going. They hurry back up to the line again. Burrow taking a big step out there. He's going to throw it down to his tight end, and he's going to get out of bounds there by picking up the first down as well with 33 left. Steelers are getting very close to field goal range here. This could be some very scary territory for the Titans now. They're going to hand it off to the back, and he's going to get stuffed for only 1 yard there. Clock is down to 20 seconds now. Burrow going to convert the first down there with his receiver. He's going to stay in bounds, though, so they have to use another timeout with 15 left. And that is enough to get them into field goal range now. Here comes the field goal for the Steelers here. This to move on in the playoffs and send the Titans home would be a very disappointing look for the Titans here. The kick is up, and that is going to go through. The Titans are being sent home in the divisional round once again after being the 1 seed this time around. And while Holloway did make the highlight play, it clearly wasn't going to be enough to take down this Steelers team, and now they're being eliminated because of it. And it clearly wasn't Cam Ward and Holloway's fault, because the defense not being able to stop Joe Burrow at all on that drive is very concerning. So as long as that gets better this offseason, this team should be able to bounce back perfectly fine in year 9 for Holloway, right? Well, sadly for Titans fans and Darius Holloway, there would be some game-breaking news this offseason. The Titans would not decide to extend Cam Ward after this game, and he would officially become a free agent and would be joining the Ravens and would be following a similar career path to a very great Titan that we know going to the Ravens at one point. And QB play is usually very important in a wide receiver's career, but for a guy like Darius Holloway, maybe he can succeed under another quarterback. And the signs early on would not be pointing well for him, as he would be only having 1,093 yards in year 9, which is going to be the lowest he's had since his rookie season. And while his new QB, Terry Walker III, would be helping the Titans get back into the postseason without Cam Ward, in the divisional round, they would be running into him for their first revenge game in the playoffs. And this game has a lot at stake here, as Cam Ward and Darius Holloway are going to be able to get the chance to prove that they don't need one or another to be successful in the NFL. And with a game like this, the Titans franchise could easily show that Cam Ward made the wrong decision not taking an extension with the Titans, and maybe the Titans made the best decision at the end of the day for the team. And as much as I would like to say that this is going to be a very thrilling game, this will be a very one-sided game for one of these teams, which would be the Titans, as they would be destroying the Ravens 38-21, sending Cam Ward home in the divisional round and getting the first laugh on him in the playoffs. So his playoff struggles are clearly carrying on into Baltimore, and that might just affect the rest of his NFL career as well if it keeps going like this. And that win right there would give the team all the momentum they needed in the playoffs to go into the AFC Championship game and take down Fernando Mendoza and the Raiders, as they would now be going to the Super Bowl for the first time with Terry Walker III at QB and Darius Holloway at wide receiver as a duo. And their matchup in the Super Bowl would be the Dallas Cowboys, who have George Pickens at wide receiver still and are still looking to win a Super Bowl with him at wide receiver as well, which isn't that shocking. But as we reflect on these last 2 games, it's clear that this Titans team is bringing a whole entire different type of energy into this one compared to the last 2 Super Bowl runs they've had with Cam Ward. And that same energy will be brought into this game, as they would be absolutely annihilating the Cowboys 33-10 and giving Darius Holloway his 3rd Super Bowl win of his career. And this is easily going to go down as one of the most memorable seasons for Darius Holloway in his career, as he takes down his former quarterback in the process of winning his 3rd Super Bowl and getting the first serious laugh on Cam Ward in their split up. And while there may have been some question marks about Darius Holloway's future in Tennessee, those should now be wiped away after this Super Bowl win, as he looks to stay in Tennessee for the rest of his career. And while I did just say this is the most memorable season for Darius Holloway's career, next season would actually probably top it off even better, because in just year 10 of Darius Holloway's career, he might have just had the best wide receiver season we have ever seen, as he's going for 2,063 yards, breaking the receiving record held by Calvin Johnson, and 26 touchdowns, which also breaks the single season receiving touchdown record as well. But somehow with all this, he wouldn't be winning the NFL MVP, which is kind of crazy to think about, and is very much proving that the MVP award is just a QB award at the end of the day. And while he would be winning Offensive Player of the Year, obviously, having the MVP trophy as a wide receiver would definitely help his career out a lot. But once again, we're now officially back into the postseason with the Titans, and yet again, they're going to be running into the Ravens in the divisional round as they look to take down Cam Ward for a second time. And while Cam Ward may be looking for revenge in this game, when you're facing a guy like Darius Holloway after the season he just had, it almost seems impossible for any team to take down this Titans team. But even with that being said, Cam Ward would be keeping this Ravens team in the game the whole entire time, as we got into the 4th quarter, this game would be tied up at 29. But with the Titans being on offense and having the Offensive Player of the Year, there's easily a big play ready to be made in the 4th quarter to end this game. Hurrying back up to the line of scrimmage here, 3rd and 7 now. Walker attempting to throw a pass here is going to take a very deep shot downfield to his receiver, and he catches it at the 20 on a jump ball. What a grab. Wasn't Holloway at all, but that is an insane play by the wide receiver there. Titans are now officially in prime position to take a lead in this game. They could just run the ball out if they wanted to. He's going to pass it down to his receiver, though, on a check down. He grabs a few yards. Now, 1st and goal. They hand it off to Hardy, and he walks in there very easily. Touchdown Titans with 1:07 to go. And that just might be the dagger on the Ravens yet again. And they do it. They take down the Ravens 2 years in a row in the divisional round. And now Holloway has all the momentum going into the AFC Championship game. And this win right here would bring them all the momentum they need to get back into the Super Bowl, where they're going to be having a rematch with the Dallas Cowboys again. And compared to last year, this game would be going a whole lot different, as the Cowboys would actually be sticking in this game the whole entire time with the Titans, as both of these offenses would be putting their best performances out there. As we got late into the 4th quarter, the Cowboys would be up 41-38 over the Titans with only a few minutes left, and the Cowboys could easily be getting into celebration mode here soon. So a few good executed plays by this Titans offense could easily be winning them the Super Bowl, but sometimes history can repeat itself and it doesn't need a reason to. 2 minutes left now in the game, 3rd and 7 here. Darius Holloway has a chance to win ring number 4 here, but they need to convert a very big game-winning drive here on offense. Walker's gonna chill in the pocket for whatever reason, fumbles it, and the Cowboys recover it. Oh my God, I can't believe we just saw that. And so a fumble by Terry Walker is going to be ending the Titans season right then and there. And it's very much looking like a repeat of history of when Cam Ward did something very similar in the Super Bowl just a few years ago. It also ruins what could have been a very perfect season for Holloway, as he could have had his career best year, and topping it off with a Super Bowl win would have easily made it for one of the best wide receiver seasons in the NFL. And while it's still definitely going in the record books, there's now going to be this what if on top of it if he would have won the Super Bowl. But now heading into year 11 for Holloway's career, he's officially looking to now take down all of Jerry Rice's wide receiver records, as he's officially pretty much created the greatest single wide receiver season ever. And this season, he's continuing to push that agenda, as he's having 1,700 yards and 10 touchdowns on the season, which as usual is getting the Titans into the postseason. And while he may be also focused on breaking those records, he also really wants to win more Super Bowls to help out his career, but also help out the Titans franchise as well. And he's going to get another opportunity to do that this season, because yet again, he's finding his way into the Super Bowl, this time to be facing off against the Giants, who still have Jackson Dart and Malik Neighbors as their amazing wide receiver QB duo. And it's a very important game for Dart and Neighbors, as they don't have a lot more time left in the NFL, and them being in the Super Bowl right now might be the last time they ever get to be here. But it's clear that Darius Holloway would immediately be taking the spotlight from this Giants team, as he would be having one of the best Super Bowl performances by a wide receiver ever, going for 164 yards and 2 touchdowns, and looking like he's having an easy cakewalk against this Giants team. But the Giants towards the end of the 4th quarter would slowly push themselves back into this game, only being down 28-35 against the Titans. But with them missing the onside kick, it looked like this one was going to be wrapped up until the first play from the Titans on this drive. All right, Walker, play action here, is throwing an interception. Oh my God, what are we doing? What are we doing, bro? Like, the game's over. Why are we throwing the ball? Well, I guess Jackson Dart and company are back in this game. That's insane. Giants with 2 timeouts now. They do need a touchdown here. Dart going for a deep ball here to the receiver. He catches it at the 22. The Giants actually might be pulling this off. This is insane. Dart now, another pass out to his receiver, grabbing the first down there. The clock is ticking still. Here we go now. Dart throws it out to Neighbors. He's gonna fall short of it, down at the 1 there, and they're gonna hurry back up to the line here for another play. Looks like they're not gonna opt for the spike here, as they probably shouldn't, and let the clock keep going. Dart, a quick throw out to his tight end. Looked like he bobbled it, but he did still catch it. And the Giants, with an extra point, are officially tying this game. I want everybody on the Titans officially fired after this game, because I don't know why we're throwing it in that situation, but all right. So the Titans would get the ball back and just settle for overtime, where the Giants would be getting the ball first. So Jackson Dart's going to get a chance to take the early lead in overtime. Now Titans are playing in back-to-back overtime games. An interception there by the Titans on the first play of overtime. Oh my God, they actually might have just saved their season. What a play by Cedric Ray there. Now the Titans are set up in elite field position here, to where they only really need a field goal to win this game. What will they do? Walker looks like he's gonna throw a big pass out to his receiver, incomplete, trying to get it down at the 20 there. Hopefully we can see Holloway make a play here on this drive. might be going his way, and it's going to be incomplete going down the sidelines. Great defense there by the DB. I mean, the Titans are in field goal range here, so I guess just protect the ball at all costs here. Hardy there is gonna grab a few yards there, but gets pushed back immediately. It's gonna be 4th and 9 now. At the 34, this may be a long kick. Will this be the dagger on the Giants? And that is gonna go through. The Titans are winning the Super Bowl with Holloway and Walker once again, and do not fall to the Giants after a very bad end to the 4th quarter. So in one of the most thrilling endings to a game that should not have ever happened, Darius Holloway is winning his 4th Super Bowl ring, and him and Terry Walker are winning their 2nd together. This also puts him in NFL history forever, as he officially has tied up with the most wide receiver Super Bowl wins in NFL history with Lynn Swann, John Stallworth, and Mike Wilson. And for the first time in his career, he's winning Super Bowl MVP, having the elite performance he just had in this game, and he can also officially now add that to his trophy room at the end of his career. And with him having a performance like this, there's no question and doubt about what they could easily be doing up next season. But sadly, in year 12 for Darius Holloway, while he would still be having an amazing season himself with 1,700 yards and 9 touchdowns, the Titans would be missing the playoffs for the first time since his rookie season, going 9-8 on the season. It definitely sucks that he isn't going to be able to go win back-to-back Super Bowls this year, but going into next season now, he's looking to help bounce back this team into the postseason and hopefully win us another Super Bowl for himself to break the wide receiver record. And speaking of wide receiver records, he would only be maybe 1 or 2 seasons away from breaking all of Jerry Rice's records, as he would be having 1,986 yards and 15 touchdowns on the season, which is still unreal for a guy that's 32 years old. And with him having a season like that, he's going to be helping the Titans get back into the postseason, where they're going to be making it all the way to the AFC Championship game to face off against the Bills. And while the Bills defense has a tough task at hand trying to defend Darius Holloway in this game, the Bills offense would be easily taking care of this Titans defense, as they would be sending them home in the AFC Championship game, even though Darius Holloway would have 2 touchdowns in this game, playing his part out perfectly. And this defense has clearly costed Darius Holloway multiple important playoff games that they've ended up losing, and will definitely go down in history as a big what if on if he would have had a better defense, if his career could have easily been way better than what it already is. But after all, he is still the greatest wide receiver in the NFL, and having to use your defense as an excuse for not winning games cannot be happening for a player like him, and should not be the reason why he hasn't had a better career. But as we now head into year 14 for Darius Holloway, he's officially going to be taking another huge step up to being the greatest wide receiver of all time. He would be officially breaking 3 of Jerry Rice's records, being the receiving yard record, which is now set at 23,923 yards, having 207 touchdowns on the year and 1,664 receptions in his whole entire NFL career. And while he now has a very valid argument to be the greatest wide receiver of all time, it very much is starting to look like his career is starting to overshadow what Jerry Rice really did. And even better for Holloway this season, he's going to get an opportunity to put the cherry on top of this cake, as he would be making it all the way back to the Super Bowl, this time to have a rematch with the Dallas Cowboys once again. A win here could make him break the record for most Super Bowl wins by a wide receiver in NFL history, making it 5 if he wins this game. And with this being the 3rd time these two teams have faced off in the big game, they should easily be very well known against each other and know how to stop each other on offense and defense. But sadly for the Cowboys, this game would be going very similar to how these two met in the Super Bowl for the first time, as the Cowboys would just be getting out dominated by Darius Holloway and the Titans, and would be losing in the Super Bowl, meaning that Darius Holloway is breaking yet again another wide receiver record. And with him breaking that wide receiver record, that also ties him up with all non-quarterback Super Bowl wins in NFL history, with Charles Haley being right next to him. We may no longer just be looking at the greatest wide receiver of all time. We may be officially looking at one of the GOATs of the NFL. But just like every great player, their careers have to come to an end at some point, and that's going to be happening in year 15 for Darius Holloway, so he's getting one more chance to win potentially another Super Bowl and rack up even more yards. But it's clear that he's going to be going out in his prime, as he's going to be going for 1,600 yards and 11 touchdowns on the season, and having yet another great year for himself. And luckily for the Titans, in his final season, he's going to be leading this team back to the Super Bowl, where they're going to be facing off against the Giants, who are no longer in the presence of Jackson Dart and Malik Neighbors. And this is going to be a very big game for Holloway, as he could also be breaking the record for most non-QB Super Bowl wins in the NFL's history, with this being his 6th one if he pulls it off. And usually Darius Holloway's had his way against the Giants throughout his whole entire career, but this time around they're going to be getting the better over him and winning the Super Bowl and taking down Holloway in his last NFL game. So he's officially closing the books on his career, and we now get to look at how his career really went, and to say that he overexceeded expectations would be shorting him a lot. It was pretty safe to say that before his career started, Jerry Rice was the very clear and cut greatest wide receiver of all time, but after a career like this, there is no question in anyone's mind that Darius Holloway is definitely the better greatest wide receiver of all time now. He would have over 25,000 receiving yards, over 200 receiving touchdowns off of 1,800 receptions, 3 Offensive Player of the Year awards, a Super Bowl MVP, and a 5-time Super Bowl champion. And he also holds the single season record for receiving yards and touchdowns. And on top of that, he stayed loyal to the Titans throughout his whole entire career, no matter what the situation really looked like. He definitely now has to bring up the debate for the best non-QB career we've ever seen, but what would happen if you did put a quarterback in a situation like his, being the greatest prospect they've ever seen? Would the greatest QB prospect be able to come the greatest of all time and take down Tom Brady with that title? Click the video on the screen to find out.